So I beat up my Camaro over the summer with track days, and now it's time to fix everything that I broke. So first up is the oil test and cutting open the oil filter. So the oil analysis came back, and this Redline race oil seemed to do really well. Over the next couple months, I'll be testing different oils and see how well they do. 8 quarts or 2 gallons of fresh oil is pumped into the car with my power fill. I rebuilt my AccuSump. There's a video on my channel if you're interested. My clear spoiler is polished up with some paint compound. Now it's nice and clear. My T56 Magnum F fluid, the MTF, is drained and tested. The test results came back pretty good, doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad. Maybe there's a little bit of synchro in there, but I think that's pretty normal. I was using the Tremec MTF fluid. It works well at medium temperatures, but not very well at high temperatures. According to Tremec, it's good for 275 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to try this AMSOIL Synchro Mesh for next season. They claim it's more stable at high temperatures, upwards of 300 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll see if this is true on track. I used my power fill to fill up the transmission. I didn't bother filming it because it's boring. So now for the rear brakes. These Baer SS4 brake calipers are mounted to a semi-floating slider. The problem is the sliders are very loose and the caliper moves up and down a lot. The result is some pretty crazy pad taper. I mean, just look how bad this brake pad looks. I think only 2/3 of it is actually touching the rotor. I took about 1/8 of an inch off the pin bushing, and now the caliper is fixed and secured. I also replaced the bolts with M14s after 2 of the M12s stripped out. The brake caliper movement was actually causing metal buildup inside of the caliper, so I rebuilt it again and cleaned it up. I also have a video on that if you're interested. I mean, just look at the aluminum dust in this caliper, it's crazy. Now to drain the diff fluid. My magnet seems to have fallen off the cover, but luckily it didn't get stuck inside the diff. The C-clips are removed and the axle shaft pulls right out. The outer axle bearings and seals are replaced. They're about 20 bucks to replace and pretty easy, so why not? So now to figure out why my car has so much pad knockback in the rear. So this axle play is pretty bad. The cure is making another thicker axle slug. The original thicker axle slug that I had made was made from titanium, and it didn't last. Titanium has very poor abrasion resistance, so this new one I had made is 4140 steel. If that fails, I have another custom one machined with oil grooves that's made from A2 tool steel. I installed the thicker TrueTrack slug, and the end play is almost zero. A new gasket, oil, and a diff cover, and the axle's finished up. I'm not going to cover this because I filmed it a million times. It looks like my springs were decoupling at turn 3 at the Ridge Motorsports Park. It took a nice chunk out of my Penske shock body. Now for the spark plug inspection. The plugs seem a little bit lean to me, so I'm going to have my tuner run the car on the dyno again and see if anything changed. All the gaps are good though. 8 fresh TR55 plugs, and that's finished up. Now for some new Dex Cool coolant. A trick that I use is pressurizing the radiator to force the extra coolant out. The overflow is empty, so all good there. The coolant was a little bit red. That shows that it has a little bit of degradation, but it's still fine. I upgraded my cooling system with this 16-inch Spall circle track fan and a custom radiator shroud. This has 19 of Spall's bypass flaps for high-speed cooling. Look for a video in the future making this setup. I also sell these flaps and a cut template if you want to install them on your radiator. This VacuLift coolant fill kit is a lifesaver for basically any car. I can't believe I didn't know about this tool before. I went ahead and cleaned up the suspension, and I retorqued all of my new 12.9 bolts. A few of the bolts were slightly loosened to 60 pound-feet and not the proper 80 pound-feet. So it was good that I checked. I put some fresh grease in the A-arm bushings. These QA1 Ultimate ball joints are rebuilt, cleaned up, and some fresh grease is pumped in. I have a full video on the process if you're interested. The cleaned up spindle is thrown on and the castle nut is torqued, followed by a cotter pin. Maybe I need to make those billet weight jacks. These UMI ones are getting pretty wobbly. I swapped my 3/4 front master cylinder for a slightly larger 13/16 master cylinder. The added volume should help a little bit with pad knockback, but will come at the cost of higher pedal effort. This Wilwood balance bar setup is bolted back up. Reinstalling this balance bar when it's just you in the shop is rather difficult. My Wattslink lock nut is all mangled up, so I replaced it with a fresh one. All my autocross laps, my street driving, and track days absolutely destroyed these rotors, so new rotor rings are needed. The rotor hat is cleaned up and bolted to the new ring. I got new NAS hardware lock nuts and reused the bolts. The steering system is rebuilt and then bled with fresh fluid. I also have a video on this if you're interested. I accidentally stripped off the power stud on my Busman relay, so now I have to replace it. That's great. I have a full video on how to wire up a Busman relay. I actually found a few crimps that weren't ideal and they were creating a little bit of heat in the relay box, so I also replaced those. So I guess it's good that this did happen. The front bearings look pretty good, so I repacked them and relashed them with my DRP bearing spacers. You can also see that in another video that I made. So these aluminum caliper spacers got all messed up, so I had some titanium spacers made instead, combined with some brand new ARP stainless bolts. Hopefully this removes any caliper movement that I was getting before. The new rotor is slapped on, and the new ARP caliper bolts are installed. The brake caliper spacing looks good, so it all comes back off. Red Loctite is used on the bolts to make sure that they never loosen. a quick torque to 80 pound-feet. The rotor is bolted up and cleaned off with some brake cleaner. The ARP caliper bolts are installed with blue Loctite, since they will occasionally need to be removed. The 3AN PTFE brake line is reattached. These brake caliper pad spreaders work their magic. This was a Christmas gift from my twin sister. New DTC 30 brake pads are installed. New brake pads and rotors means this combination is extremely tight. The bridge bolt is torqued back down, and that's it for now. There should be a part 2 of this video coming soon that'll follow up on all the other fixes that I'm still doing on the car. As always, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can follow me on Instagram.